All right, if you have never been camping before, then this video is for you. Over the next few minutes, I'm gonna cover the basics of what you need to know to get out in nature with your family and have an amazing weekend. All right, let's do it. For this trip, we headed out to Cherokee Rock Village in northern Alabama. It's a camping spot on top of a mountain with stunning views and rock formations that are great for bouldering and rock climbing. Follow along and we'll share 8 tips to make your first tent camping experience a success. At Mighty Things, we help families trade screen time for outdoor adventures and real skills. If you want to raise resilient, capable kids, subscribe to our channel for inspiration on how you can learn, build, and explore the world together. All right, so when you're thinking about camping, it's easy to break it down into different categories. The first is your shelter or your tent. Tents do not have to be super expensive. We actually got this one used at a garage sale a long time ago and it's held up great. It's a big one, so our whole family can fit in there if we need to. Inside the tent, we have sleeping pads and we've got a bunch of variety here. We've got some backpacking blow up ones. We've got just some cheap foam. We have a fancy inflatable one over there. Really just depends on what level of comfort and the amount of equipment you want to have. And then obviously you just need a sleeping bag on top of each one and a pillow. That pretty much takes care of your shelter. And again, pick a weekend that has really good weather and you won't have to worry about rain flies or anything like that. And you can actually leave the top of the tent open and see the stars at night. All right, if you do need to pick up some camping gear for your first time going out and you're just looking for the basics, Walmart actually has a really robust camping section, and believe it or not, their Ozark Trail brand is known for being pretty durable. So here at Walmart, I'll go ahead and show you quickly some of the tents and sleeping bags and things like that you might get. Now, this is not specialty gear. If you get into backpacking or more advanced camping, you're gonna want nicer gear, and for that, I would start to look at stores like REI and more premium brands. All right, so when you're looking at sleeping bags, there's 2 different things you're gonna find. First of all, the overall size of the bag, and then the second is the temperature rating. So here we have a bag that's good for down to 15 degrees, and then 50 degrees, and also 50 degrees, but you can see this one is a lot smaller. So it really just comes down to the type of camping you're doing. If you're gonna be right next to your vehicle, it really doesn't matter how big your bag is gonna be. So it's fine to go with something bigger. Now, as you start doing more hiking before you camp or anything that's farther from your vehicle, you're gonna wanna start to get those smaller and smaller bags. Now, bags at Walmart are pretty much all gonna be synthetic. As you get into more fancy gear, you'll get into down sleeping bags and they get really small and really light, which is great for backpacking, but they also get really expensive. So the tents you find at Walmart are not gonna be 4-season tents, which would be for winter and more extreme camping. These are really basic tents. You're just gonna go out in the spring and the fall with nice weather, but they have a number of different options for different size families, basically the number of people you want in the tent. And most of them will be dome style, which is really just your basic starter tent. Okay, the one other thing you're gonna wanna look for is basically what you're sleeping on. And so that's what you're putting your sleeping bag on. Now you can get cots, which fold out like that. And that's gonna be fine for if you're, again, camping next to your car. You can also get inflatable pads like you saw in our tent here. They've got small inflatable pads. You can also get the full-on inflatable type mattresses, but you're gonna have to have an inflator for those. If your campsite does not have electricity, you can get battery-powered inflators. We've had mixed luck with those. They tend to not hold up very well. So I would recommend either a foam pad, a cot, or something like that. All right, next up is food and water. And it is pretty simple again. If you're just coming out for a day or so, we get a simple ice chest that we throw all our stuff in with ice, and we do a lot of the cooking at home. So we'll pre-cook the sausage, and then when I get here, I just have to warm it up on our little gas grill, which is a very simple, small, compact gas grill I can break down and throw into one of our storage containers. For water, we'll just grab a flat of water bottles, or if we're out for a couple of days, we'll get one of those big 5-gallon jugs, and you can get like an automatic dispenser. But again, if you're just out for a weekend or even a day, you just need a flat of water bottles. All right, so we got this really cool little camp stove here. It comes in a box, and you just unpack it. And it has its own fuel container. So then you just mount the fuel and start it. And it actually heats up really quickly. So that is super convenient for breakfast, dinner, anything like that. All right, so once you have your shelter covered and your food and water, you can move on to the fun stuff, which is all the activities. The first thing up is, of course, the campfire, and we'll talk about starting that in a little bit. You can do s'mores at night, you can do story time. That is one of our favorite things. You can also bring a lot of outdoor toys. So our kids love biking. We often bring bikes, and campgrounds typically have open roads and areas that you can go on. So bikes are always great. We also do things like cornhole, a little cornhole set that we set up, frisbees, anything like that that you want to do outdoors. One of the best things about camping is how close it can get you to really cool outdoor activities like lakes and mountains. In this case, we spent a good bit of time bouldering and rock climbing all around the campsite, but we'll cover that more in our next video, so make sure you subscribe. Alright, so camping does require a fair amount of gear, so to make life easier, I have a checklist that I just print out every single time, and then it's really easy just to check things off as we pack. The other thing is, we have these big storage bins that we just keep our camping stuff in, so that's like an extra pot, that's our gas stove, anything like that, and so it's really easy just to grab our camping box, throw it in the car, and we know that most of the things on the checklist can be eliminated. Alright, and just a pro tip. When you're booking a campground, look at the map before you book a site and pick something that is close to the playground for your kids and the bathroom. That is one of the biggest things with tent camping is you're probably gonna have to walk to the bathrooms. If it's just a short walk, like a couple of minutes, it's really not a big deal. But again, pick something close to the bathrooms and the playground, it'll make your life a lot easier. All right, just another tip to consider before you go out and start your first camping trip. The weather is the biggest factor to consider. If it's too hot or too cold or raining or anything like that, it can absolutely ruin your weekend. So when you're starting out, make sure you pick early spring or early fall, good time when the weather is temperate and mild and you can get out there and be out there pretty much all day without being uncomfortable. And then just watch the weather as your trip comes up, and if it looks like it's gonna be bad, just postpone. It really is not worth starting with bad weather. All right, it's that exciting time when we get to start the fire. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is chop a log into kindling. That's very fine pieces of wood that'll catch fire quickly. So I'm just gonna find a thin piece and start chopping it here. Like that. Nice, it's a perfect piece. All right, now we're gonna come over to our fire ring here and we're gonna take our kindling and we're gonna create a little teepee that we can put paper in. All right, so it takes some patience, but once the teepee's on fire, I can start adding big logs around it, keeping that teepee structure, and pretty soon you'll have a nice roaring fire. Making s'mores is one of our favorite campfire traditions. We warm up marshmallows on a stick and then make a sandwich with graham crackers and chocolate. From there, we all take turns reading poems. Shout out to The Nauseous Nocturne by Bill Watterson, is the best ever written. All right, good night you guys, sleep good. Now, as we wrap this video up, it is important to note that camping will not always be fun. It could be hot, it could be cold, you may not sleep as well, but that's kind of part of the point. It's a great opportunity to teach your kids to embrace the discomfort, have a little bit of resilience, and just enjoy getting out there and being a little bit dirty. Now, hopefully you found this video helpful as you plan your first camping trip, and if so, please like and subscribe to our channel. We're going to be putting out a lot more content like it with ideas that you can do with your whole family. And until next time, get out there and do some mighty things.